The sun rose over the rugged hills of Macedon, its golden rays caressing the stone walls of Pella, the ancient seat of power. Here, in 356 BC, a child was born who would forever alter the course of history. Alexander, the son of King Philip II and Queen Olympias, grew up under the shadow of greatness. Philip, a master strategist and unifier of Greece, and Olympias, a woman of intense ambition and mysticism, imbued their son with a unique blend of martial prowess and an unyielding belief in his divine destiny. Aristotle, the great philosopher, became Alexander's tutor, instilling in him a love of learning, philosophy, and an appreciation for the Homeric ideals of heroism and glory. Yet, it was Philip's assassination in 336 BC that thrust the 20-year-old Alexander into the crucible of power. With a crown resting uneasily on his brow and a kingdom still fragile from years of war, Alexander's gaze turned eastward, to the sprawling Persian Empire. Alexander's first great gamble came in 334 BC, when he crossed the Hellespont with a force of 40,000 men. The Macedonian phalanx, bristling with its 18-foot sarissas, and the companion cavalry, swift and disciplined, formed the backbone of this army. They faced the Persian satraps, whose vast numbers were bolstered by Greek mercenaries, but lacked the unity of purpose that drove Alexander. At the river Granicus, Alexander's army clashed with the Persians in a thunderous encounter. The young king, leading from the front astride his warhorse Persepolis, shattered the Persian lines. Blood mingled with river water as Macedonian spears carved a path to victory. Alexander's first triumph was as much psychological as it was tactical, demonstrating his invincibility and securing a foothold in Asia Minor. In the city of Gordium, Alexander confronted the legendary Gordian Knot, a complex tangle said to only yield to the one destined to rule Asia. With a swift stroke of his sword, Alexander sliced through the knot, declaring that destiny favored the bold. This act was a harbinger of his relentless ambition and his belief in divine favor. At Issus, Alexander faced King Darius III for the first time. The Persian king's vast army stretched as far as the eye could see, their glittering ranks an intimidating sight. Yet Alexander's strategic brilliance turned the battlefield's narrow terrain to his advantage. Leading a decisive charge with his companion cavalry, he pierced the Persian center and sent Darius fleeing. The king's ornate chariot was abandoned, a symbol of Persian fragility against Macedonian resolve. One of Alexander's most grueling campaigns was the siege of Tyre in 332 BC. The island city, surrounded by impenetrable walls and the sea, defied him for 7 long months. Undeterred, Alexander constructed a massive causeway to bridge the waters. His soldiers fought valiantly against Tyrian defenders, and when the city finally fell, it was a stark reminder of Alexander's unyielding resolve. The decisive confrontation with Darius came at Gaugamela. The Persian king, commanding a force numbering in the hundreds of thousands, prepared for a final stand. Alexander, outnumbered but not outmatched, demonstrated unparalleled tactical ingenuity. Exploiting gaps in the Persian lines, he led a ferocious charge straight at Darius, forcing the king to retreat once more. The battlefield was a tableau of chaos and carnage. Chariots with scything blades tore through ranks, war cries echoed, and the air was thick with the metallic tang of blood. When the dust settled, the Persian Empire was effectively shattered, and Alexander stood victorious. Alexander entered Persepolis, the ceremonial heart of the Persian Empire, in 330 BC. In a moment of symbolic retribution for Persia's past invasions of Greece, he ordered the city's palaces burned. Flames devoured the grandeur of Xerxes' halls, a pyre signaling the end of one empire and the rise of another. The pursuit of Darius ended with betrayal. The Persian king was murdered by his own satrap, Bessus. Alexander mourned Darius, covering his lifeless body with a royal cloak as a mark of respect. With Persia subdued, Alexander's campaigns turned toward the rugged lands of Bactria and Sogdia. At the river Hyphasis, Alexander's army, weary and longing for home, refused to march further. Standing on the riverbank, the king stared eastward, his dreams of unending conquest curtailed by the limits of human endurance. Reluctantly, he turned back. The march through the Gedrosian desert tested the resilience of his men. Dehydrated, starving, and harassed by the relentless sun, the soldiers endured unimaginable suffering. Yet Alexander's presence, his refusal to drink from a cup of water offered by his men, inspired them to persevere. In 324 BC, tragedy struck with the death of Hephaestion, Alexander's closest companion. Consumed by grief, the king's unshakable resolve faltered. He ordered immense funerary honors, his sorrow a poignant reminder of his humanity amidst his godlike achievements. By 323 BC, Alexander had returned to Babylon, the capital of his burgeoning empire. Weakened by fever, he spent his final days outlining grand plans for future campaigns, visions of conquest that would never come to fruition. Surrounded by his generals, the king who had once declared there were no more worlds to conquer, breathed his last. Alexander's death at 32 marked the end of an era, but the beginning of a legend. His empire, stretching from Greece to the Indus, was a testament to his unparalleled ambition and vision. Through the cities he founded, the cultures he bridged, and the stories of his exploits, Alexander the Great ensured that his name would echo through eternity.